You're listening to Heroes in the Moment.
What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
And today we're breaking down The Mandalorian Chapter 23.
We almost done.
The Spies. So one more episode after this one. And can we just say, holy cow.
This was a good episode.
This was not a good episode. It was an incredible episode.
Really? I wouldn't say incredible.
I would say incredible. I would give this episode like a 9.
I feel like there's just like a lot of like slow parts, but later it would make
still
up for
worth it. I mean, who cares about the slow parts? I was still entertained even in the slow parts.
It just I'm confused, man. I mean, like why would they drop that filler episode right before this, you know?
Because
of
that.
I think it should just been a slow and steady build up to this, but it was like a rocky climb to get to this moment.
It kind of was the rocky climb. At the same time, they still, I mean, we finally get what, I mean, they answered all the questions that they were building towards, what's going on, you know, trying to get back to Mandalore, and then what's going on underneath the mines of Mandalore and all this other stuff. And I mean, it's just really, really cool. I just thought I love this episode. I mean, it really definitely brought a lot to the table. You're like really seeing where this season's been building towards, which I really like. So I'm really excited. Yeah. And I'm excited for next week.
It finally got to the actual story. Like, here's what's happening. Here's how it's going to resolve.
I mean, some of the other episodes did. We just didn't understand that how much it did relate. The only episode that really didn't was the last one when it was just Jack Black. So, I mean, you know, the rest of them did, but this episode
it was very slow, or it would be brief, and then the rest of the episode would be filler.
Right. So, but I enjoyed it, and we're going to break it down right now. So,
let's do it.
We start off in the season that we get Moff Gideon. Giancarlo Esposito is how he pronounces his name, actually.
It's Esposito?
It's Esposito.
Esposito.
Yeah, we always do Giancarlo Esposito, but he said it's actually pronounced Giancarlo Esposito.
Esposito. Dude, I'm sorry, Giancarlo, man.
I'm sorry. We are all sorry.
Forgive me.
I know it's like Rihanna's Rihanna. It's weird.
Is it actually?
It is.
Dude, I did not know that.
It's crazy. Anyway, but he is back, and it's been realized he has been pulling the strings the entire time. He talks to that one girl who we don't like, but she was...
Why is she in the show, dude?
I don't know. She's his contact in Coruscant, which makes sense. And we realized that he was behind the pirates, infiltrating Navarro. He was behind the ships and the TIE interceptors. He was behind all of these different things that's been planned. He was behind Dr. Pershing and what happened there. Yeah. All these different things that have been going on. He's been behind them, which is a cool reveal.
Pulling the strings.
Absolutely a cool reveal.
Who broke him out?
Who broke him out? I don't know. We'll have to see. But it's still cool. We got it back. And I realized that he's actually been hidden on Mandalore the entire time.
Yeah, that's
that was really crazy because he technically owns it.
Yeah.
I mean, so it makes sense.
Who helped him out? It seemed a little sus.
But we find that out. So
that's all I'm gonna say.
We get him going, and after he breaks the transmission, he goes on a walk through his little thing, and we see like the Phantom Menace, the red shield things. That was cool. And we see the new Dark Trooper suits. They
look good,
Beskar armor. They looked really cool.
Freaking impenetrable.
And then we see some test tube looking things that look like they got some cloning process going on.
Yeah. Who are they cloning?
I don't know. It looked like kind of may have been Snoke. I don't know.
Really?
It may have been Snoke.
I didn't look too hard at it.
I didn't either. I mean, it may have been Snoke. It could have been Palpatine. I don't know. But anyway, it was really cool nonetheless. And then we see, and it's just all really coming nice, rapidly together. I mean, it's all of these things that's been building towards. And not only that, you know, them talking about the cloning process too. I mean, all the Bad Batch, what it's been. I mean, it's kind of molding together to where it makes sense. So I like that. All right, next up we get to see the Shadow Council, which is really cool to see the what's left of the Empire and the Imperial officers and things like that. Yeah. And with Grand Admiral Thrawn being name dropped but missing from this meeting because they're waiting for his arrival for his different things. That's what Officer Pelion says. Yeah. It's talking about Officer Pelion was in Rebels, so that was cool to see as well. And Grand Admiral Thrawn being name dropped, and now he is, the next heir. But Moff Gideon's like, where is he?
Yeah, he's a hater.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, like
that's gonna get him in trouble.
It was pretty clear, that he has some diehard followers and some haters. But at least in my theory that we're gonna see Thrawn at the end of the finale, and I really think like. Gideon's been, this whole force's presence, but he's going to get wiped out by Thrawn. Thrawn's going to kill him or something. And then it's going to lead somewhere else.
It's going to lead him to the Ahsoka show.
Bro, why is he talking smack about him, dude?
I wouldn't be talking smack about the heirs to the Empire, man.
He essentially just dropped like an entire diss track on Thrawn.
Especially with Captain Pelion being right there, his most loyal officer.
Yeah, he's going to say everything.
Oh, yeah. Like, he's going to absolutely tell Thrawn everything.
I would not say that.
Thrawn is straight up
I would tell him to cover his ears, and then I would say it to the rest of the guys.
Dude, yeah, but it would be really cool to see Lars Mikkelsen all dressed up as Thrawn in the next episode.
We're going to see it. I'm calling it right now.
I would love to see that. I like that theory. We also see on the Shadow Council, not only do we get Officer Pelion from Rebels, but we also get General Hux, or Hex. Is it General Hex's father? Hux.
Hux.
It's General Hux's father in this, and he is Commandant Hux here, but this is General Hux's father.
Who's Hux again?
From the sequel trilogy.
I'm trying to remember.
One of the major officers in the First Order with Kylo Ren.
Okay.
So we see his father in this Shadow Council, so that was cool. That was a cool little Easter egg. But I like this, seeing how, even though the Empire is not gone, but it's, they're still planning. I mean, they've still got people, and this is where the First Order is going to be born, is from the Shadow Council. So that's cool to see, where we'll get that rise of the First Order come into play from the Empire. Yeah. So I like that. Bridging the gap.
Yeah.
I was like, find my voice. Anyway. And then we go over back to the Navarro, and we see that both sides are coming together with the purpose of reuniting Mandalore. We see that the other Mandalorians come in to join up with the other Mandalorians, which is really cool scene. I like seeing the ship.
Just being mad racist towards each other.
They did not like each other.
They're like, you guys wear your helmets, we don't wear helmets. But like, they weren't even talking about their differences. They just like stood there like staying, looking
making
at
a standoff.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, I would go over there and I would introduce myself. I'd be like,
yeah, I know.
Let's talk about it, baby.
But that was cool to see the differences and how they're going to have to come together.
Yeah,
for the purpose of
the greater good.
For the greater good, absolutely. All right, then we get a legendary scene. We get Grogu gets IG-12, and this. Okay, you can't even lie. This was funny,
dude. Listen, man. There hasn't been really once in this show where I was just freaking dying of laughter, but it was this.
It was this. Dude, it was so funny.
He hops in it, and he has a yes and a no button.
Yeah.
And then Grief Karga's like, I think he's old enough to handle it. Like, yes.
And then Pedro Pascal, I don't think it's like no. It was so funny, man. Him just walking around, and then
yes.
And then we see him like walking through the streets, and Grogu's in his terrible twos era, and he's like, he's picking up stuff and stealing snacks, and he's like, quit that. And he's like, no.
No.
It was funny too when they were just walking and just kept hitting yes.
Yes, he's so excited.
Loved it so much. That was awesome.
The real thing here is, man, he is forklift certified.
He is forklift certified. Absolutely.
He's a Giga Chad in my eyes, man.
That guy right there.
That guy right
legend,
there.
man.
Dude, he's so funny,
dude,
man.
So
he's
funny.
like, I don't think he's old enough to operate heavy machinery.
He was like, no. He's like, yes. It was so. And him picking up the fruit, and then he was like, it's like, put it back. He's like, no. And he's like, give it back. He's like, no.
And then he held it above his head.
Yeah, and he squeezed it. I was like, oh. It's like, and he had to keep paying. Terrible twos, man.
It's
so funny, man. And he's got some more mobility now, so that's cool.
Yeah, that was. And I think that might be my favorite part of the episode.
Oh, I loved it.
Dying,
it was so funny.
It was so funny.
That scene right there, and then the scene of the two stormtroopers shooting at the barrel in their conversation is the two funniest scenes in like all of Star Wars, man.
I agree.
So funny.
I agree.
But I love that. Loving seeing that. All right, next up, we get a big thing with Bo-Katan asking for volunteers to go on this daring mission to where they need a scouting crew. One of the ships to be over the planet, and then another scouting crew to go on the planet and try to find the forge.
Yeah,
and she asking for volunteers. Several volunteer to go on this mission. And that was really cool. I mean, what do you think about the whole scene with the Mandalorians standing up for each other?
I thought it was great. Obviously, Mando is always going to be the first one to try to unite, but
absolutely
after him, and then the Jango Fett looking dude on the other side.
He does look like Jango Fett.
He does. That's every time I see him, I think Jango Fett. But like I said, it's a snowball. Once somebody goes and breaks the standoff, everybody goes. So they assembled the GOAT team with my boy Pax Vizsla. Paz, whatever his name is, the GOAT. Dude, but that was a bigger party than I was expecting. They had like 12, 14 people.
Well, they needed it as shown. But yeah, that was really cool to see him stand up. I love how, Din Djarin, stood up and said, I will go, Grogu too. And Grogu's just like, what? If I thought it would have been funny if he was in like the IG-12 and he just goes, no. He's like, no, I don't want to go on this. I stay in here.
Imagine.
That would have been funny.
That would have been so. It would have obviously ruined the series of the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that would have been hilarious.
Oh, it would have been so funny.
No.
But I would have been okay with that break of seriousness.
I just love that he's able to communicate
I know.
with them.
I still want him to see him talk.
It's just funny, dude. He has two buttons to talk.
It's so funny. All right, then we see them. They go to Mandalore. Their scouting team goes on, and then some of the people who've never been there get to actually see what has been brought to Mandalore, what's happened there after the purge, and the different things like that. And then they go down and they're scouting, and the Black Pearl shows up. And the pirate ship shows up, and they're bringing. I was laughing during the scene because I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
When they pull up and they're far away, and you just hear them go, "Do you have food?
Do you have food?" I was like, "Is that your entrance, man?" I thought it was gonna be like surrender.
I know, or something like that. And just like,
we hail
you have food. We're hungry, man.
Do you have food?
That was funny.
First of all, and how could they even hear Bo-Katan? She's like, "Yes." Like they're so far apart.
I guess they probably had like one of them Echo Planet things and stuff.
I don't know.
Because I mean, it's weird how sound travels. Like you could speak in one place and you could like say something, and then you couldn't hear it the next room. But then you could be outside and like a mile away and you can hear it. It's weird.
But she has a helmet on.
She didn't have a helmet on that time.
Oh, she didn't.
No, she took it off. And then he was like, Are you Bo-Katan? And she was like,
how did
yes.
they recognize the voice, dude?
I know.
They're just tuned in pretty well.
They know their stuff. But anyway, it was turned out to be other Mandalorians who were stayed on the planet. They never left. So that was kind of interesting.
Rip, I would have dipped, man, with everybody else.
Sure.
Shout out Skinny Pete.
Oh yeah, Skinny Pete showing up
from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I went crazy when I saw him. That was
really cool.
But yeah, the old ragtag crew, and then the other guy, the black actor. I've seen him in something
I've
before.
definitely seen him before.
He was like familiar, but I didn't know who he was.
All right, then we get Bo-Katan on the ship, and they're explaining how they're still loyal to her. But then she explains how we some unanswered questions. One being how Moff Gideon came across the Darksaber. It was based on a deal she made with him to kind of keep their people alive, even though he betrayed them on that deal.
And that's how he came into about like all that stuff. Like run it back one more time.
Okay, so she was talking about how during like the Purge and during the Empire when they were coming to destroy Mandalore. So this is after Rebels, after the events of Rebels took place. She was in the control of the Darksaber.
Yeah.
The Mandalorians a lot of them were many together, and they're banded together on Mandalore. But then the Empire came and were asking they were going to destroy them. They're going to take all the resources and everything like that. But she made a deal with Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon was the one over this deal.
Okay.
And she made a deal with Moff Gideon that he would get Mandalore and the Darksaber as long as you let these people survive.
Really?
So that's what happened there.
Okay. Got you.
So that was really cool to see. And then they also explained the end of the Death Watch. That was cool.
Yeah.
See that actually there's not a Death Watch. I do think that the armor is actually part of the Death Watch still, and kind of was at least. And then created the watch based off of it.
Ooh, left out the death.
Left out the death.
Okay.
Kind of hide what it's
an appealing marketing strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, then. Well, you just gotta talk about the armor for a second. Armor is sus, man. Sus, man. I mean, she comes on this mission. She's like all for it and everything like that. And then she also dips and leaves, with the sick. She's like, I'll take the sick back to the ship before something else happens. Later in the episode, they get shot at and stuff like that. She does that. And
plus, Beskar was recovered at the site where Gideon.
Right, Beskar was recovered. So was it her?
Had to be a Mandalorian.
Also, she's got the horns on the helmet. So does Moff Gideon.
Yeah,
on his helmet. I mean, there's a lot of tie-ins. Armor is sus. My theory is that I think the armor has been working for Moff Gideon this whole time as a spy for the Mandalore.
That's
he
why
was the one.
Name of the name of the episode.
Oh, the spies. Yeah, that's definitely why. I think that's definitely probably why the armor was a spy for him. And then on Navarro, he was letting her use the stuff on Navarro and do the different things that she was doing to manipulate the other Mandalorians. And I actually think that she is going to end up being Captain Phasma of the sequel trilogy. I do think so.
Yeah.
I mean, the voices are similar. It would make sense because let's say she goes off and betrays them, and then let's say if your theory is right, Moff Gideon dies by Grand Admiral Thrawn's fan. Maybe Grand Admiral Thrawn gives her the Phasma armor, and she's still working with the First Order. Even she works with the end of the Empire up until the First Order.
That's how
it would just make sense. And plus, Captain Phasma's armor looks Mandalorian-esque almost. Yeah. Like it's Stormtrooper and Mandalorian-esque. So I think it would make sense. And I think that'd be kind of a cool explanation of who she is and where she came from.
Dude, she's so. What would be her motives for betraying the Mandalorians?
Possibly she wants her share. Maybe she just cares about the money. Maybe she just cares about her own ways. And I don't know. We'll have to. That'll have to something that will be revealed if our theories are indeed true.
So we think that maybe she's been working for Gideon like a long time.
I think so. Probably since we met her. Yeah.
Really?
Probably. So pretty long time. All right, next
That's
up,
a good theory.
we get a fight pass out with Paz Vizsla and the Jango Fett guy, and over like a chess game, which was kind of funny.
Yeah. He's like, you simpleton. You don't know the true ways.
It's so funny.
Bro, it's like, pull out the rule book, man.
I know.
You know, that's what I would do. Like Monopoly, when you got like an argument, like you get out the rule book.
Pull out the rule
you don't
book.
pull out your knives.
That's true. He pulled out a knife.
He pulled out a knife. I legitimately thought one of them was going to get
I did
injured.
too.
I really
but
did.
then Grogu and IG-12 decided to step in, and I actually liked it. Like, it was serious. You know, he held him back, and it actually was showing what he learned from the Jedi, and not from what he learned from Din Djarin. That was cool because you know when they put an emphasis on that, they put like, you know, he didn't learn it from me, and then it showed his face, and I'm just looking up at him like, you know, he's getting some of that Jedi heritage by holding it back. So that was cool.
But I understand, like, by rule, right? Like, there wasn't allowed to be a person interfere with their fight.
There wasn't allowed to be a person interfere with the fight from either side, and technically Grogu's on the side of Din Djarin, but you know he's a mediator. You know he's Jedi, right? That's his job.
He's also a robot.
Jedi or keeper of the peace, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing the Jedi way.
He just says shoves them apart.
Yep. All right. Then they make it to the Forge, but are attacked by the new Dark Troopers. When they do make it there, and a lot of the ship was destroyed. And in this very cool scene, this was cool. You know, they're shooting each other and stuff. My thing is though, is that they're both made out of Beskar armor. Why were the Dark Troopers like going down a lot faster than they were?
Yeah, than they were. Like
Right.
their Beskar was pure.
I guess their
like,
Beskar was better.
Realistically, unless you have like, I don't know, dude, like a dude who's just an absolute dead shot, you'd be in a stalemate because they got, you know, arm over all their essential areas for their body. Like,
Right.
How much you can take a lot. So.
Right. But anyway, we get that, and then they're pushing forward, and we find out, you know, Moff Gideon's been in charge of Mandalore the whole time. He lands in his suit,
and that just proves your theory, man. The fact that he's there, man, like
it does.
He 100% made a deal that he chills there, and then she gets something in return.
And Din Djarin was captured. At this point, I thought he was actually going to die at first, originally, because the reason I thought that is because prior to the episode, I heard someone was going to die, and I was kind of like, okay, who's going to be?
Yeah.
And I had theories, but at the same time, when I saw him like get to where he was alone, and they were like hitting him and stuff, and Moff Gideon lay down, I thought he was about to pull out something and just like cut his head off or something. I was like, oh no, please don't do that.
Yeah.
But they didn't. Thankfully, hopefully it won't happen next episode either. We hope. But it could. I don't know. There's theories about that. But anyway, we see that, and then he's asking for the Darksaber back. But Bo-Katan's like, no, you know, this is not the way, you know, what we need to do. So then he has them attack.
She won it rightfully, though.
She did.
Because Mando beat him, and then Mando lost to the weird
She
thing.
won it back rightfully.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that, so, you know. And then he flies off, and she makes a plan to where she cuts the backs where they can escape.
Yeah.
But then the GOAT, man. I love this character, man.
Giga Chad.
I love him, man.
But looking back the whole season, like, they just been putting him in like to get you attached to him, like similar to like to Tech, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
That silent, strong type,
right?
know?
And he's Paz Vizsla, man. That's Ironhide, man. I love that guy. And he goes out there, he shuts the blast door to keep them safe. And Bo-Katan's like, no, but he's like, you know, this is the way. And that gave me chills. And he's fighting, man.
He took out all the Dark
He had
Troopers.
the flipping minigun. Which I can't stand a minigun anyway, back in my Fortnite days. Anyway, can't stand that gun. Anyway, so he's throwing that, then it got overheated, and he just throws it at a trooper. And then he starts beating him and pushing him off the ledge. And then you think everything's cool. He beat him, and then we get the guards coming in. What they're called, the P guards, the red guards. Anyway,
I don't know.
The ones we see in The Last Jedi. Those guards, 3 of them come out with their purple things. And I was like, holy cow! And they do that now. Oh, he's dead.
I thought he was gonna die I thought he was gonna jump off the cliff with like the last 2 guys.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah. But this is cooler. But anyway, you know, he comes in and he pulls out his shield, pulls out his knife. He's ready to fight.
Yeah.
But they just take him out like easily.
Instantly.
Like it was off. I
felt
so
bad
sad
at that point.
But he goes out like a champ. He's laying there, and you get the stakes of the next episode. What's going to happen? And what an episode, man! Like it just, you know, from start to finish, it was a great episode.
Yeah,
it makes me definitely hyped for next week. It redeemed a lot. It redeemed a lot. Like we said, same predictions. I completely agree with Moff Gideon, Grand Admiral Thrawn theory. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, and then the reveal of the armor.
The reveal of the armor. Do you think Din Djarin will get killed by the armorer?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I mean, like Pedro, just such a huge name. I think they're going to keep him alive for the movie that Filoni.
The guy who plays Din Djarin under the helmet, who walks around, it's not Pedro Pascal, said that this is the next episode's very emotional and very stuff like that. So it makes me nervous. So I really hope they can't kill him off. I just feel like they can't.
I don't think they will.
I hope not. I mean, maybe they kill off Bo-Katan. Maybe they kill off somebody else. I don't know. But I'm excited.
Bo-Katan, I could see that
That's
happening.
a possibility. If they do next week's episode really, really well, it's still not going to be better than season 2.
No.
But it might be better than season 1.
You think so?
So we'll have to wait
I don't
and
know.
see.
I don't think 2 really good episodes redeem a bad season.
Well, it wasn't a bad season all the way through. The only bad episode was the last one, and the other ones were just kind of
They're
good.
just kind of. I felt like they're just kind of mid, and then the bad, and then really good.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens. I mean, maybe not, but maybe. I mean, the next episode's just absolute crazy because I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, I'm excited nonetheless.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Here's in the Moment, is available on all major podcast platforms, so check it out. We have a huge library out there, so go ahead and check out any of our previous episodes. If you want to stay up to date with all of our news, announcements, and updates, check out the socials. We have an Instagram, Here's in the Moment, and a TikTok, Here's in the Moment with Nesha T.
And we just want to thank y'all for listening. And as always, we love you 3000.